Do you feel good or bad about the economy? Let's talk about it on Today in Mortgages. Hey, what's up, Dreammakers? Welcome back to the show. We're talking about what's real, what's hype, and what you should actually be paying attention to out there in the world of mortgage and real estate news. It's Today in Mortgage. Rich, how do you feel about the economy?
Well, it's mixed news, obviously, every single time. I mean, I feel like things are picking up as far as real estate and finance, but it's not the same for everybody.
It's not the same for everyone. And, whether that's true or feeling, we're going to talk about it today. We picked up an article from Axios today. I'm going to read the headline. It says, two-speed economy, the rich keep spending, but lower income Americans are facing stress. Rich, I think we're all facing a little bit of stress out there, but I'm sure it's different for different people. So how people feel about the economy is different based on their financial situation. That's obvious, right? But what are some of the factors that go into that?
Well, if you dig down into the data, it talks about delinquencies are higher on credit cards and auto loans. And even we're seeing it a little bit on our FHA loans, which are generally first time homebuyer loans. So there is some stress. And, we had talked about this in previous episodes, Michael, where we talked about kind of Instacart and all of these different tools that people use to shop and how they're choosing to pay over time. They're choosing to finance that stuff. And those are sure signs of stress. I mean, when was the last time you were at the grocery store?
Yeah, definitely. It's been a while, Rich. So there's definitely some signs there, and those are the indicators we're looking at. Some of the things that it points out in this article is that wage growth. So, wage growth at the early stages of kind of what we would call, quote unquote, the recovery post pandemic. We saw higher wage growth for those low wage jobs and lower wage growth for high wage jobs. And now it's kind of evened out, right? And it's percentage based. So, a 2% increase if you're a low wage versus a 2% increase if you're a high wage. Obviously, that percentage is going to represent a higher dollar amount for the higher your income is to start with. But people were generally feeling good about their wage increases. But as those wage increases have gone down, this article is saying that sentiment has also gone down. But we got some numbers that kind of contrast with that on Tuesday, right?
Yeah, I mean the consumer confidence was still high. It was still high. It wasn't as high as expected by a couple of points, but still very high. So the spirits are still high up there, but we know just based on all the data, more money's being borrowed on credit cards. Car notes and delinquencies on credit cards are, up. There's some real stress out there right now.
Definitely. Yeah. It's interesting to me, Rich. This kind of, when I was reading this, caught my eye. It reminded me kind of when we were coming out of the post pandemic. It wasn't even a recession, but, downturn, whatever you wanted to call it. People were saying, oh, this is going to be a K shaped recovery, which meant that, some people were going to recover up and some people were going to recover down based on where they fell in kind of the socioeconomic spectrum. And, obviously on politics, people saying, oh, the rich get richer, et cetera. And that's kind of, this is almost a new way to phrase that. But we haven't heard much about that K-shaped recovery in the past year. So, is this like kind of a trendy way to talk about the economy, or are you feeling like based on the stats that you've talking about, the credit issues that we're seeing, you think this is maybe has a little bit more meat to it? What do you think?
It does have more meat. I mean, look at people with money. Just look at savings account, APY rates on them, right? If you're a high earner and able to save your money, you're getting almost 5% return on your money in just a savings account. Never mind the stock market and things. I'm just talking about the normal things, your average consumer, where they save their money. The people with money in their savings account are earning 5%. A lot of that is fun money, the way they're looking at it. Likely, I mean, we see the higher income still spending while the lower income is not, and they just don't have that privilege when you're a lower income. So they're slowing down while the people with a little bit of money are continuing to spend because of the interest they're earning on this saving.
And Rich, you and I were kind of talking anecdotally before the recording. I've seen this anecdotally in Houston. I don't know if it's, different in different markets, but we've talked about cash buyers and the increase in those happening right now. And we're seeing a lot of that in the high real estate range market, million plus here in Houston, where people are just coming in and buying that house with cash. Whereas maybe that, sub 400 starter home, which is a high number, but that's kind of what the reality is here in Houston. People are having trouble being that first home buyer because their high debt to income ratio, or their income is just not going to suffice for the monthly payment. And that's kind of maybe what we're seeing here too on a practical real estate level, is that there really is two different worlds right now, where you're kind of at this high level rate doesn't really matter. I'm just going to go and buy this house with cash. And there's a lot of people out there that can. So there's still multiple offer situations at that high dollar. Whereas kind of at the lower end, people are just struggling to qualify for those loans.
Yeah. I mean, again, people with money, especially the people that could pay cash for a property, they're not going to put cash into a property like that they anticipate to devalue, to depreciate. And we've talked about this many times, Michael, about the lack of inventory and how the cost of homes just keeps rising. And that's not going to change.
Hmm.
And, there's just not enough homes for everybody. And we'll save that for another episode. I'm sure we'll have a lot of data on that. But the people at the lower end, they're just struggling. It's not just the interest rates and the appreciation on homes, the higher sales prices. It's the taxes are also rising, the real estate taxes with these properties, and homeowners insurance is crazy right now. We're seeing, like, I just recently got a bump on my homeowners insurance of $500 a year. And while I feel like that wasn't big for me, because we see all day long, people in Florida, people in South Texas, they're starting to see their insurance, if they can even find a provider, because a lot of insurance companies are pulling out of coastal areas. It is just a rough haul out there.
So, Rich, we're kind of talking about some of the tough situations that people are facing right now in the housing market. But, with the indicators that we're seeing in the general economy, kind of pick me up a little bit. Give me some silver linings.
Well, there's still a lot of young people making great incomes.
Mm.
All those young people are our first-time homebuyers today. It's over 50% of all homebuyers today are first-time homebuyers, and those folks are making good money and making a good living, and things are looking up for them. That's just not everybody. And honestly, if everybody could afford to buy a home, it would just be even worse for everybody, right? It'd be so much
Mm.
more competition. It's just, if you can afford to buy a home today is the time to do it. Like, don't sit on the fence waiting for rates. Don't sit on the fence waiting for the values to come down. It's just not going to happen. Maybe growth slows, but it's just, the numbers are there. There are too many buyers that want to buy homes that are going to keep the prices stable, if not continue to appreciate. So if you can afford to buy a home, just get after it today, even at these rates, which are now normal. Fannie Mae has anticipated the best rate this year is going to be 6.4%. That's just a little bit lower than we are today. Not significant. In fact, if you bought today, likely you would gain more equity in the home before the end of the year than the difference in the rate. So get after it and buy a home if you can.
It's a good word, Rich. And I think that the interesting thing right now is that homeownership has always been a difficult thing. First time home buyer, that's always kind of a big hurdle to get through in your life. And what you're saying is that there are so many people that are in that stage that have that desire. And as we kind of look at how we can help them, it really has become kind of a coaching game, right? We are in an advantage here at Network Funding because we deal with our business and relationships. And so as we build those relationships with potential buyers, we're helping them understand what it actually takes, as opposed to, something where you might just go online, click get mortgage, and there's really no help or personal touch behind that. And so, Rich, that's something I really love about our business model, and something I really love about you being able to provide this insight to everyone, but also to the people inside the network, and that coaching that you give people every day. So if you're out there and that model fits your desire, give us a shout. Click on that grow link below, and Rich can connect with you to help you understand what it looks like to be a part of the best network in mortgage. As we look into this new home buying landscape that really requires a lot of that hand-holding, personal touch to get people to that place so they can afford these homes. So check out that grow link below and we'll get in touch. Rich, we talked about some tough financial scenarios today. We talked about some good news. Any final words you want to say just kind of on this reality that we're facing.
Yeah, it's just important to work with a good mortgage advisor and a good
Mhm.
real estate agent today. So continue to reach out to those, especially network funding people, because we do look at, if you want to be a homeowner, we're looking at solutions to make you a homeowner. If that's, giving you some referrals to refinance student loans or some credit correction or these type of things, this is what we do. We do help coach our home buyers and putting them in the best position to secure a home today. So reach out to us.
Yeah, if you're a mortgage professional out there, be better for your clients. If you are a client out there, find a good mortgage professional and also find a good realtor. And we're going to be talking about some of the NAR stuff that's come out in the past couple of weeks. Soon as more of that shakes out and there's more information to kind of get past the hype, which we don't want to hype up right now. So stay tuned for that. We're looking forward to talking more with you after the Easter holiday. So thanks so much
Absolutely.
for watching, listening, wherever you are. We appreciate you, and we will see you next time on Today in Mortgages. Today Mortgages is produced by Network Funding LP, which is an equal housing lender, NMLS 2297. The content of this program is meant to be a commentary on mortgage and real estate news, and any discussion of rates and or products should not be taken as an individual mortgage or home buying advice or pricing estimates. And any commentary on this show should not be considered a promise to make a loan. All applicants for a loan must qualify, and you should consult a professional regarding your individual loan scenarios for your financial situation. Visit our website at nflp.com/licenses for all state licensing and other legal information.